Welcome everybody. This is Samson coming to you from Newport Beach today. Welcome to our show, and today we're very excited to have a very special person with us. And we're fortunate to have today with us incredible entrepreneur, world traveler, Mrs. Kim Hui. Hi Kim, how are you?
Hi Samson.
Well, thank you Kim for inviting us to your lovely multi-million-dollar house today here in Newport Beach. And thank you for spending the time to share with us.
My pleasure.
Now, I've known you for almost a decade now. And,
a long time.
Yeah, a long time. And, you know, I've seen you done some incredible things, accomplished many things for yourself, and also to help others around the world. And, you know, being a part of the journey with you the last few years, you know, it's quite an experience. And today, you know, thank you for taking the time to share with us really about your success and how others can be successful. So now I know that, you know, we travel the world together. And many times when I travel with you, we're at the events where there are thousands of people. So it's like, you know, you go on stage, you're the rock star. And many times, I guess, people, you know, only see you on stage, the persona, the success. But I believe that, no, not many people really know the real Kim. So maybe, you know, you can share with us, I mean, what drove you to be so successful? Where you come from? What drives you? What is your desire? Where did it come from?
Well, first of all, welcome to my house, so you get to know me a little bit better. Well, you do know me a lot better than most people, but for the audiences, welcome to my house, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. And I'm glad that we got a chance this time to kind of share with people what we're about and really how to proceed and how to succeed in what we do. And so, you know, I wasn't born into a rich family, so pretty much everything I have is we went out there and
self-made millionaire. Absolutely.
Yeah, I could say
well,
that, you know.
Now it's multi-millionaire.
Well, you know, I think these terms are used pretty elusively these times, you know, but as far as being an entrepreneur, it's always been my dream to make something of myself. And, you know, we as immigrants coming to this beautiful country of ours, right now the United States, I watch how my parents struggle as immigrants. And because of language barriers, I watch them work at jobs in putting kids through college. And so coming to America is one of this, you know, American dream to be a self-made millionaire. And so it's always, there's always something in me that wanted to be a millionaire, a multi-millionaire that. And when I was young, I didn't know how. And I did the traditional route of, you know, going to school like, you know, our parents teach us, you know, get a good education, get a good job, and then perhaps someday, you know, you strike rich. And so I went on that route, and I had a good education, and I thought I had a good job until I got laid off. And so that was, boy, that was 20 years ago,
Wow.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
And pretty much that was, I was at the crossroad of my life that now looking back, thank goodness someone laid me off. It actually allowed me to went on entrepreneurship. And
what a journey, huh?
20 years, 20 plus some years, yeah, quite a long journey, yeah. So it was quite a journey, not only in terms of achieving success and being who I am, but I think it's ultimately it's not the money, but it's what I gained from that journey of becoming who I am today.
Now I know it's 20 years journey, like you said, and I'm sure it wasn't easy at the very beginning, right? But what has really made you that entrepreneur that's so extraordinary? What made you so successful? What are some of the things, you know, when you know, look at the business we're in today with Jeunesse? How do you look at it? I mean, most people when they start, they hardly have an idea of how to get started and what is it. I mean, what is the right perception when you look at the business?
I think to start off, you know, Jeunesse is a brand new platform, a business platform, and so people have to first embrace that this, in fact, is a business, it's a legitimate business, and it can be a huge business. And so I think a person's perception is very important when they engage in this type of business. And so having the right frame of mind and the right perception and understanding what this business model is, and embracing that this is a legitimate business, it's as real as anything that's out there. And so I think that's the first thing. And secondly, just like anything else, as an entrepreneur, to succeed, you got to have that strong desire. Like for me, what drove me is that desire to be somebody, that desire to be successful, that desire of making something of myself in this lifetime. And so it was something that like that drives me. And so I think first and foremost, when distributors or people, entrepreneurs and professionals engaging in this business platform, that first accepting that this is a new way of making money, a new way of creating wealth. And from there, be willing and open to learn and embrace this business model.
I totally agree with what you said, because I guess, like in life, times change, things change.
Absolutely.
The internet has changed the way we do things, and you're definitely somebody who sees the opportunity and ran with it, and had created incredible success. And not only that, but helping thousands of people around the world. And it's funny, I've seen people from around the world travel thousands of miles just to see you for 30 minutes. And now that, let's say they get the right perception of the business, it's something that they can create, that's real, they can get a hands around. Well, what do they do? What do they need to do then? What is the next step?
Well, first of all, it's a very humbling experience for myself to have seen people that travel miles to come just to take pictures, and it's very flattering. But more important than that, I think it represents give people an example of what's possible. And so as far as understanding and embracing the business model, I think one has to understand, what do we do in this business? What make it thrive? And I could sum it down to 3 things that we do in this business. And a lot of times when people engage in this business model, and it is a new business model, and the thing is, because the investment is so small, people typically don't look at it as a real business. The most investment we make in this business is our time and our network, our sphere of influence. And so I think first, understanding that what we need to do in this business are 3 things. First, we have to understand that we are out there we're building our infrastructure, our business model in essence. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go out there and recruit. What we are is we're building a distribution channel, if you would. And so what we do is that first thing we do is we recruit. What do we recruit? We recruit entrepreneurs. And so I will talk about some of the characteristics of what we look for as we go out and recruit. And the second thing we do is that we teach other people how to recruit, because this business is all about duplication. It's not about one person selling all the time, because that's linear income, trading time for money. But this business model is about building distribution and about creating wealth. And so the second thing we do is we teach people how to do what we do. And then the third thing we do is we teach other people on how to teach other people. And so that's when true duplication happens, teaching other people how to teach. And so as far as going back to the first one, the recruiting part, we are doing is that we are paid, where the wealth, where the money would be, we are paid to build our distribution network.
So Kim, when we talk about opening distribution and recruiting, can you give us more detail? Who do we look for to open our business?
Very good. A lot of times it's kind of interesting. After 20 years being in this industry, typically, when people got involved in this business model, typically what they do first thing is they look for customers. But look, we're in this is to build a distribution channel. So the type of people that we look for are business partners. So what are business partners? Entrepreneurs, people that want to build a fortune. And so obviously, opportunity comes to people at different stage of their readiness in their lives. But however, as we go out there, if I'm going to spend time in building something, having the right perception is very important. So that perception is we are in here to build a distribution channel. How do we go about the most effective way of building a distribution channels are looking for entrepreneurs. And so there are several characteristics that I typically look for when we're looking for entrepreneurs. And so, for example, Samson, you were a very successful traditional businessman before, and so when you open your business, and if you were to open shop, you look for a business partner, what type of people will you look for?
Well, I think just definitely people who are business-minded, they want to get ahead.
Absolutely.
Right? They want something more, right?
There's no difference. So this is a real business, and so we look for people that want to get ahead, that have a strong desire. I think one of the 4 most important items on the characteristics of entrepreneurs is desire to succeed in life. And so that's number 1 thing I look for. And secondly, I look for people with credibility. Because it's very important when you launch a business, and for people to have credibility, that are trustworthy, that have a tendency when they say go, people go. That's very important. So second thing is credibility. Another thing that I look for is people with a sphere of influence, with a network. Because the type of business we're in the people business. The fact that we don't advertise, we don't do mainstream media, we build it by our sphere of influence. So it's very important that to look for people with a network of contacts. Another thing very important in our business, because this is a new business model, It is very different than the traditional business world, and like you, when we first met. And so I think to have an open mind and a coachable mentality is very important, to be teachable.
Yeah, very important. I think I still remember when I first met you, you know, and knew you were very successful. And of course, I give it a try.
Okay,
I guess we can say it was humbly, definitely it was a try. Yeah, it was actually very difficult to transition over because I didn't really hear what you were saying. But in a project now, I mean, it's definitely, you know, when I decided to do full-time, you're gracious enough to help me. And all your coaching, you know, I really decided, you know, no turning back, got to be completely open. So, but...
You know, you hit the nail on the head in that, you know, because a lot of people coming from a traditional business background, because you have your own success in the past, you know, we have a tendency to go use our own past success, the model and the way that and the methods in which we became successful in the old business model, we have a tendency to apply it here. But the good thing for you, Samson, is that you were very coachable. You were open to learning, although you were stuck in the beginning because you were doing your old way.
Yeah.
But I think that ultimately when someone very coachable, they're open to learning, because after all, this is a new business platform. This is very different than what you were used to and what most of professionals or traditional business people were used to. And so I think coachable is very, very important.
Let's say they're all that. So let's say after they get into business, you talk about, you know, the basics, having a desire, being coachable and all that. You know, once they get in the door, what do they do? What do they need to do?
Well, before they get in the door, there's two more items, two more characteristics, okay? I think another item very important is attitude. Having a very positive outlook in what we do and anything we do. And as a matter of fact, all these items I talk about, these characteristics of entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter what we do. Would you not agree with me, Samson, in your business, before you have several retail shops, that, you know, it's not a rosy day, a good day every day, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a bad day, what you do? You gotta keep that positive attitude. True,
hey, keep smiling, right?
That's right. Hey, when you keep that smile on long enough, it becomes real, okay? And the other item that we need to have is, as entrepreneurs, I think we all need to be resourceful. You know, first, got to have the money to start the business. If not, somehow find the money to start the business. And also, I think one of the beauties of being an entrepreneur is that I noticed over the last 20-somewhat years of entrepreneurship, I realized that entrepreneurs typically are very resourceful. That, you know, if one door closes, we find another way out. And so
it's solution oriented.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So having the right attitude and being resourceful. So these are the 7 characteristics of entrepreneurs. And these are things I look for when I look for partners. And that's what I saw in you, Samson, many years ago.
Oh, I didn't see that in myself yet at the time. I was probably stuck. I think I was stuck in a hole somewhere.
Well, I'm so glad to see.
Well, thank you for helping me.
Absolutely. That was a fun journey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think those are very important things. So the first thing we do is we recruit and we look for entrepreneurs. And so these are the type of things that we look for. Yeah.
So as you look for entrepreneurs, let's say that, you know, they join us in the business. There's a big question out there. After they join, what's the next step?
Okay. What actions should they take?
Yeah, because they don't know what they're doing, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, they think they know, like we haven't did before, but, you know, what actions do they need to take?
I think first and foremost, one should do is when they engage in this business is that understanding what you want out of this business. Like you, what is your why? You know, we all have something that drives us. Now, obviously, to majority of the people, money, you know, financial freedom. So whatever it is that drives you every day. And so we need to find out that why. And the reason being is that as you go out there and look for entrepreneurs and sorting out business partners, there's a lot of emotional roller coasters. Because not everyone you find, they are studs. You know, they are one that, hey, this is it for me. And sometimes we have to go through that emotional roller coaster to find the right prospect or the right business partner. And so having your strong why is very important, because there are days that you're really excited, you're really happy, but there were times that you're down the dumps emotionally. And so it is your why that's going to get you out of the emotional dump. And so having a strong why is very important. Like for myself, I mean, when I first engaged in this business, did everybody say yes to me? You know the answer, and the answer is no, right? As a matter of fact, you know, I recalled when I first engaged in Jeunesse, and I had talked to like over 200 friends of mine. And out of 200 friends, less than 20 people said yes.
Wow.
Right? But what did I do? I kept on going. Now, why? Because I have a strong why. There's something I wanted to accomplish through this business platform. And so I think having a strong why is definitely on top of the list.
Wow.
And second thing we got to do is have a business plan. So what is a business plan? That's our contact list. Who should we call? And so over the years, in our lifetime, we all have built up that Rolodex of friendship, of friends. And so, and a lot of times, Samson, as you become very successful in this business as well, and so a lot of time when we tell people that you got to get out your business plan, and typically people say, well, what is that? And that is making that list, the list of all your friends.
Yeah, it's very interesting because, you know, like when you mentioned that, you know, I went to business school. That's not what they told us to do. Why is that?
You know,
But I think you know, having worked with you for the last few years and you know being on this journey together, that's definitely, I really believe in that. And I guess in business, like you say, when you go out find entrepreneurs and all that, I guess, you know, it's people who open the doors for us. Huh?
Absolutely, because you never know. Actually, as a matter of fact, I would say this: as you make your list, your business plan. Now, a lot of times when you make you ask people to, you know, make the business plan, make their list, they would say, "Oh, no need. It's all on my cell phone. All my contacts are there." Well, you and I both know that a lot of times when you make those phone calls, okay, you call your friends, and after a few rejections, guess what? All those business plans, all the friends disappear, okay? Yeah. Forget about hitting the phone. And so I think it's very important that you take the time. And whatever we're talking about right now, Samson, you and I both know it's a very simple thing to do. But it's so simple that it's easier not to do. Right. And so I think it's important to make to write down the contact list, understand something. And based on my experience, that 90% of your wealth will come from people that's not even on that list. Because it goes back to what you said earlier. That list, some of them, they are just door openers. It's not what they do on the list, it's who they might lead us to. And so that's how we met, as a matter of fact, many years ago, right? That's right. So I think it's very important, the second thing to do is to make that list. And the third thing we got to do is what? Make those phone calls. Talk to people, right? Talk to people. Yeah, and I think these are the most basic things that one must do to succeed. It's simple. It's really simple, and that brings us to the next thing. I mean, after you make the list and you hit the phone, a lot of times people will say, well, you know what do I do? That's right. What do I say? What do I say? Yeah, exactly. What do I say, right? Well, you know, I remember now, you know, people that are looking at this are very fortunate because now we have tools and we have things in place to help people. And I remember, Samson, that when in the beginning was almost me doing the talking. Yeah. And if you notice that people around us in the beginning, they were the people that succeeded earlier. And so what we have done is that recently that we have put into a place, a system, tools that allow people to have a higher chance to succeed. And so, because typically a lot of times when people hit the phone, they don't know what to say. And they kind of mess up all over, kind of, you know, by stroke of luck, you know, whoever we hit. I think now, especially today, you know, the viewers are very fortunate because we have put together a system to allow people to easily pitch what we call the 1, 2, 3 punch, right? Yes. So because understand something, on your contact list, different people have different whys. They might want different things. And so they also have different personalities. You know, some people want money, some people want to have fun. So whatever that might be, we have put together something that what we call the 1, 2, 3 punch that will allow them to kind of pique their interest and to help them sort. And so that sorting process is very, very important. And we have a system and tools in place that help them to succeed. They can better. Leverage off of that. Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. You know, I wish I had that when I started. Oh, I know. There we go. But I guess, you know, that's why, you know, I think, you know, a little bit more than 4 years in Jeunesse, you know, you earn millions and help so many people become millionaires. And now it is the right time, huh? And maybe the right timing to really, you know, put it on the gas, huh? Create this U.S. global system. Absolutely, and I think, you know, as I look back and reflect on our journey the last 4 years, I realized that whatever we have done in the past 4 years, if you were to read a book, okay, if we were to write a book, we have just finished the introductory chapter. Because the last 4 years of practice, and if you were to think of driving a car, the last 4 years we were on manual gear, you know, doing manually switch gears. But I'm telling you, right now, we have put into a system that allow people to go in an automatic mode. Okay, forget about switching gears in automatic mode. And what that is that after 4 years, I realized that, and you have also realized that the people that are around us, that are closest to us, they all, most
Yeah, they're making terrific money.
absolutely become, many of them are millionaires now. And so, obviously, there's only so many people that we can be around us closely. And so, what I have done is that I have teamed up with a company to do a training, to put into a system. I realized that what Genesis is an amazing business platform. They're the provider of the platform. But in any business, there's a platform, but there's also need to be the know-how. So if you were to look at a computer system, so a platform, in essence, it's the hardware, right? So what runs the hardware, there got to be softwares that run the hardware. And so what a system is that it's a software that runs the hardware, that helps you to run the hardware. And so that's where US Global System comes in. I come to a point where, I'm blessed to make very good money because of this platform. I realized that I want to go out there and empower even more entrepreneurs. As you and I know that 80% of our business partners, they are people that have never ever been involved in this business model before. Most of them are traditional business owners and professionals, but yet they're having great success. And so what I've realized that we have to do is, in order to create that momentum, that next wave, okay, to put on that automatic mode, if we can bottle our last 4 years of experience and we can give it to even more people to experience that success, I think it'll be a lot more meaningful for my life. And so that's why we have the US Global System put in place and have tools put in place. So when people go out there and they try to recruit their friends or talk to their friends, instead of being all over the map, we have something in place that they have like a standard message. That it's very neutral, that will help the prospect regardless of their interests, is either money or self-growth or self-expansion or having fun. We have a 6-minute message for them. So once you make the list, and I would say the next thing you got to do is you call your friends and listen, you know what? If there's something that could possibly change your life, would you invest 6 minutes to look at something? And if they say, well, what is that? What do I have to pay? What do I have to join? There's nothing. There's nothing to pay, nothing to join. Just invest 6 minutes. Would you invest 6 minutes of your time to check out DVD that could possibly change your life?
Very powerful.
Absolutely. Now, how difficult is that?
Yeah, very simple. Exactly.
Don't you wish we had that in the beginning?
Yeah, I know.
But you know what, though? It's also a process. Because it took us to go on that last 4 years of journey to document our success and actually have a system that's proven and created all these success around the world to have come to a point, a space in time that to create this. And so we have that, what we call the success code. And so the DVD, so people that are viewers are very fortunate that you guys have that right now, because we didn't have that. And so that would be the first step. And so to make this business big and last a long time, it can't be relied on one person's effort.
That's right.
You got to plug into the system, leverage the power of people. And so it's all about leverage. To create wealth, it's all about leverage.
So now that you've launched the system, and like you said, it's going to create the next wave. But what is your vision? What is your ultimate vision, your goal?
Oh, very good question. It's a loaded question. I think, as I grow in my lifetime as a human being on this journey, it's ever evolving. I think the near-term goal is that whatever we had accomplished the last 4 years, I believe in 2014, in this year, we will be able to do all those 4 years combined. We will be able to do it in 1 year, in 2014.
Wow.
So that's an immediate goal. Now, the second goal is to truly have something to help more entrepreneurs to succeed. Because I've been there. I was a struggling entrepreneur 20 years ago. It wasn't an easy journey. Thank goodness I had the desire to hang on. And I believe that if I could package my last 20 years plus somewhat years of experience, and perhaps if I was able to empower 1 or 2 or 10, if they too, because they could learn and be inspired and also gain from the experiences I had, be inspired to do something, and through their successes, they too will be able to empower hundreds and thousands of people. That will make a happy day for me.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible vision. Having worked with you, for almost a decade now, being by your side watching you, I've seen you really change people's lives around the world. And I know that, sometimes that even it might be that just one sentence that we say or just a few minutes that we see somebody and they saw us, that, it turns somebody's life around and they become somebody they never thought they could be. And I can really hear in your voice because sometimes, I guess, in business, when you have that passion, just as you have, nothing can stop you. And that makes the passion is not even work anymore, is it? I guess it's a way of life.
It's a way of life. I mean, it's become a lifestyle. I mean, like this is not working to me or to you. And you talk about, helping to change other people's lives. It's not us that's doing the work. We are just a messenger. A lot of times success gets to people's head. It's like it's them. Look, Samson, I watch you to went from driving an old car, living in a small apartment, now to a multi-million-dollar mansion and having multiple cars. You went out there and did it. I was just a messenger that perhaps through one or two sentences of mine that you got inspired. But you went out there and did the work. And because of that, Samson, I see you. Now you're out there inspiring hundreds and thousands of people around the world. You are a highly sought after speaker.
And Kim, because of your passion for the people, and how being successful, I guess, in a way, you have changed your life forever and changed thousands of people's lives forever. And that's definitely one thing that inspired me to pay it forward to duplicate what you have done. Of course, I'm not you, but really we want to carry the message forward. And the last year or so, very exciting. You've come up with a lot of new projects. And first, I want to congratulate you on writing your book about your success story. And I know it will inspire thousands of people around the world. And because of that, you're doing some charities, I heard. Is that right?
Yeah. I think it's very important, especially for someone that has been through it and that have walked the path. Like for me, I went from a struggling entrepreneur to be blessed to be where I am today. I think giving back to society is a very important cause. It's a very meaningful thing. And so I wrote a book and I released a book in Taiwan. And so 100% of proceeds are going to charity. And so as you know that, right now it's a Chinese New Year's coming. So I'm really excited that we're taking a group of people on a gratitude tour. We're going to Taiwan. So I'm taking 100% of proceeds. We're going to go visit the orphanage of the senior people, the elderly, to shower them with gifts because Chinese New Year is coming. It's cold, so get them showered, clothing and food. And so you'll be on the tour as well.
Yeah, well, when you invited me, I was very excited, And you mentioned 50 people, huh?
Yeah.
50
internationally.
Wow.
From different countries.
Wow.
Yeah. That's Samson. That's part of the journey, and that's part of growing, and that's part of giving back. And I think, to a lot of extent, what I love about this platform, this business model, is that it really allows us to experience life. So not only are we going to see the senior, the elderly, we are also going to visit the orphanage, so we can shower them with gifts and do something meaningful. It is very meaningful. So I'm really excited, looking forward to this trip. This is one of many, many trips that we would do.
Well, definitely a very, very important part of the journey.
Absolutely.
I guess in a way that, today for the few minutes that, we talked and you shared, this is something, it's a business that's is unlike any other business. Where you really have a chance to not only grow financially, have freedom and really can grow as a person and really contribute to society in a way, not only for ourselves.
Absolutely. It's a total transformation. And so to sum it all up, what we do is, when you look at this it's a process. Life in itself is a process. And so first thing is when you engage in this business model that you use the product, we've got phenomenal life-changing product. So you use the product. Then the next thing you do is you learn about the business platform. You learn about the how-to. How do you run this business? How do you operate this business? And the third thing you do is that you watch and you observe what other people do. And then the other things that as you watch, as you learn, and then you yourself will apply and you will do the business. And as you do, you gain experience. The next thing you do is you teach other people on how to run this business. And so when you walk through that circle of processes, then you become transformed. I mean, look at you. I mean, today. I mean, totally transformed.
Feeling the size of fancy clothes that we're wearing.
Well, the watches, right?
Transformed from the inside, huh?
You know, to me, you know, the fancy clothes and the bling blings, and that's all the outside. I think what makes this journey the most meaningful for me is the inside. The inside nuts and bolts of what builds character, what builds a person. And so this journey, it is an incredible journey. It's like University of Life, except it's got a compensation plan attached to it. And so it's a fabulous thing. It's a great life. And so I'm really, really blessed to have the opportunity and also have the courage to stick with it. And so I do hope that my experience and the things and lessons I've learned, people can gain from it, and people get inspired from it, and do something meaningful with their life. And that's why U.S. Global Systems. At the same time, I wrote a book because I really believe through reading people's stories and hearing other people say, you know what, if a struggling entrepreneur can become a multimillionaire, so can they. And so I think I want to serve that not as an exception, but as an example of what's possible when one wants to go out and do something with their life.
Wow, that's a very powerful message, Kim. Today, you know, we've spent just a few minutes listening and understanding what this business is about, what it takes to achieve success, and understanding really, I think, the amazing passion and love that Kim has to help so many more entrepreneurs around the world succeed. So again, thank you very much, Kim.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I look forward to hearing many, many, many great success stories around the world, because the world truly awaits to hear your story.
Wow. So folks, I know, you know, Kim travels all the time. She goes on one of those life-changing, what she calls diamond expeditions regularly. So if you want to follow her either online or somewhere in the world, make sure you check the website and catch her on one of these diamond expedition tours. So thank you very much for spending the time with us today. We'll see you at the top.